time for me to finally get cancelled.
Ever since the day that you went away, you went away.
Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Andra. I make commentary videos on pop culture and influencers. Today's video, I hope I can keep it short. I've posted a really long video the other day about Amanda Instinct, so if you want to take a look at that one, I really put a lot of work and research into that, so I would appreciate that. Today's video is about some like K-pop drama that has been going on recently, and the thing is, I have always seen how horrible K-pop fans or stans are compared to, you know, just K-pop like enjoyers, listeners, whatever. Like the really obsessed stans are absolutely horrible. They will cancel everyone. I have been called racist, misogynistic, transphobic, just everything by K-pop stans on Twitter just for just chilling. Basically, I didn't even say anything that could be bigoted, so it's just really funny, but whatever. So yeah, I'm a little bit biased from the start. I think these people have no life, and they hold people accountable to like incredibly high standards. So like they will pull receipts out of thin air that are not even what the person intended to say just to cancel you. Whereas when their favorite K-pop artist or band does something that is horrible, they don't care. Suddenly, I can't see anymore. I'm sorry. Like their mentality is absolutely disgusting. And this is about the recent drama involving the K-pop artist Sowon from a band called GFRIEND. I don't listen to them. I've listened to like other K-pop artists and bands, and I do like some of the K-pop, but I haven't listened to this particular girl group, I assume. And it's about her posing with a Nazi statue in this cafe. Apparently people thought it was a museum, but now it's a cafe. And she's posing pretty lovingly with this statue, and obviously people were upset because she posted this and then deleted it, but she said that she is deleting it because the fans would be jealous, instead of apologizing and saying, I'm deleting this because I did not know or whatever. And then after that, people discovered that somebody else from the band, I believe, has her saved in the phone as Hitler, which is a mix of her name and Hitler. Which, like, I don't feel like I need to explain to you why that's horrible to make such a joke, considering their background. Being from South Korea, it means that, well, let's talk about the involvement of South Korea in World War II, right? Because people have been pulling this excuse of how she didn't know this, she wasn't educated, whatever. Korea was occupied at that time by Japan, and you probably know that Japan was on Nazi Germany's side, and hence why the whole Hiroshima and Nagasaki thing happened. I think that was disastrous and horrible, and US should have never done that because Japan was gonna surrender, but we're not gonna get too much into that. The thing is, the Axis powers, which were the Nazi side, were known as the Rome, Berlin, Tokyo Axis. So because of that, it's pretty easy to figure out that, you know, they were the bad guys on that side. And as somebody who is Eastern European, it's just like really horrible to see this thing, because obviously Eastern Europeans were targeted and the highest death toll was from Soviets. So just seeing this, that people have been saying that she may not know. How do you not know? Because your country was occupied at that time, so I'm sure you know about the occupation, so you would know about Nazis and stuff because of the power that occupied you. It just makes no sense that people will cancel you for like nothing in the K-pop community, or whatever you wanna call it, K-pop stans community, because I'm sure the majority of K-pop listeners are not like this. People have been making threads of things related to World War II and the Nazis that these band members have done, not just Sowon, but like other band members, and apparently one of them had a song in which there was a lyric that said, "My mind's so blown, it's a Holocaust," which is obviously extremely ignorant and it's not funny at all. It's not a smart wordplay or anything, it's just kind of disgusting. And yeah, maybe this person, the band member, didn't actually say this herself. Maybe the other person in the song said it, maybe she didn't write it or whatever, but like I wouldn't put my name on something that had such horrible ignorant undertones to it. Their official YouTube channel posted some behind the scenes of this, in which I believe they make it obvious that this is a cafe rather than a museum or anything like that. But the thing is, I just think it's so insane that nobody who was on set told her don't take a picture of that because of what it is. It's so weird that so many people were there and nobody actually saw a problem with having this on set when you're filming for a music video. It's just weird. And people have been circulating this picture of her in which she looks like she's doing a Nazi salute, but I wouldn't say that just from that picture you can tell whether she's doing that. It would help if we could see a video because of, you know, you could see the motion and you could tell if it's a Nazi salute or not. But yeah, I think calling her a Nazi, it's an exaggeration. If anything, her humor is horrible, and that's that on that, because you shouldn't joke about things like this, about like tragedies, but calling her a Nazi, I think, is just kind of insane. Her record label wrote this apology, which I think is just, I don't like the fact that the record label apologized on her behalf. She should have done it herself. Apparently this is a common practice in the K-pop industry, which I wouldn't know because I just listen to them sometimes, but I don't like actually follow the bands, or I don't know anything about their life behind the scenes. So I wouldn't know if this is like a common practice, but I feel like for something so sensitive, she should have apologized personally, or at least have the apology on her page, even if it's written by the record label. It should have been on her personal page. Hello, this is Source Music. We deeply apologize for causing controversy regarding the behind the scenes video of GFRIEND's comeback show behind VCR and the photo uploaded by someone. Right, it's not a controversy, it's extremely insensitive and hurtful. So maybe call it what it is. In November last year, for broadcasting, an outsourced production company rented a cafe in Pajo to shoot the VCR for the new album comeback show, and our staff took behind the scenes videos at the filming site as well as several photos for the artist's SNS. The department in charge did not recognize that there was a problem with the mannequin's tire during on-site inspection processes on the day of filming. Since then, the behind the scenes video, December 12th, and the photo, January 31st, underwent internal discussion and were uploaded without recognizing the problems. We apologize for not being able to check in advance that there were inappropriate props on the set, and for not thoroughly inspecting it in the process of filming and uploading content, and not paying close attention to historical facts and social issues. Social issues? You think that the murder of millions of people is just a social issue? Like, I don't even have anything good that I can say about this apology. It's so cold. It's so cold. This is why I'm saying she should have uploaded an apology herself, because this is so impersonal, because these people were technically not affected by this. The whole backlash was on Sowon, so these people, they don't really care that much other than for money. We apologize to everyone who felt uncomfortable with the video and photo. And the thing is, as well, they said that this was filmed like in November. So they had 2 months to look at that, multiple pairs of eyes, editors, and nobody saw anything wrong. I just don't get it. The problematic part of the related video is now edited. The artist herself was very surprised when realizing the meaning of the photo and deleted it immediately. She took full responsibility for posting such photos and is very apologetic. We will keep in mind that the content we produce and share can affect many people, and will pay more attention to social issues in the future. Once again, we deeply apologize to those who have been hurt by the video and photos. And again, there's almost nothing said about her, and that's what my problem is here. Saying that you don't know about the Holocaust as a person who is Asian just because apparently, according to some people, World War II was an European issue. Like, what? It's called World War II, not European War II. Like, are you actually so dense that you think that these people don't know? Probably they don't know as much of it as we know in Eastern Europe, because literally we have been the most affected by this, including obviously Jewish people, but that was still like Eastern Europe. If you think that the education system in Asia is not as detailed as the one in Eastern Europe when it comes to World War II, I would believe that, but it doesn't mean that they don't know anything about it. And I find it weird as well that the place where they filmed, if it was a cafe, that they didn't think that this was a problem, that this shouldn't be here. Like, you guys have fucking Nazi-themed cafes, what is wrong with you? And you can see here clearly the second costume on this picture is the costume that the mannequin had. You can see the hat. It had the same eagle and the other badge as well, they look identical, so it's not that hard to fucking figure out why it was. Apparently her company said that she is paying them for deep responsibility for posting such image. Okay, so why is she not apologizing herself? And again, the fact that people are defending this is outrageous. Honestly, unless you have interest in world history, most Koreans wouldn't notice it. But she's a public figure, and it's true, she was careless. It just warrants a bit of criticism and an apology, and don't do it again, that's it. Yeah, you know who said never again? Like, do you know that fucking saying? Don't use it as a way to deflect and to defend a problematic artist. Don't fucking use the same phrase, almost. Like, a little bit paraphrase. But don't use it in this context because it's just so ignorant that you'd say this when the whole thing about the Holocaust was never again, and now you're saying don't do it again. Like, just don't, because it's horrible. I don't know if this person did it intentionally or whatever, but you're gonna see later in this video that there are people weaponizing being a Nazi and stuff like that. Like, it's just disgusting. Positive thinking, maybe she doesn't know much about Nazi history, especially when she went to school about art/visuals, so she doesn't really know much about history, but I still hope Sowon or other members apologize for the post. Why should other members apologize on her behalf though? Maybe for the phone number being saved as Hitler, yeah, maybe. But I just think saying that because she went to art school, it means she knows nothing else. Like, guys, you know that before art school you will study like general things. Like, I went to art university and I still fucking know a lot about history. Also, to those blaming Sowon, I'm sure she should have known better, and Hitler's reign is indeed taught about in Korean schools, but there is one thing between being aware of Nazism and another thing about recognizing the Nazi uniform. Right, and this is how you can excuse the Nazi uniform thing, but what about the Hitler thing? Because that is obviously very intentional and it is about Hitler. And you just said that they know about Hitler, so why would you say that? And now we're gonna get to the worst part of the video. This foundation that is dedicated to honoring Holocaust victims and raising awareness to what happened and to anti-Semitism and stuff like that. This organization, as far as I know, is Zionist, and I'm anti-Zionist, but it doesn't mean that I think that they warrant this kind of bullying just for raising awareness on a very, very important and very, very alive issue today. This organization, as far as I have read about, it is named after a Holocaust victim or survivor who died. I don't know if the person died during the Holocaust or afterwards, but it doesn't matter. This is obviously meant to remember the Holocaust. So the fact that people have been upset that they shared this, rightfully so. Shame on Big Hit Entertainment, as another of its K-pop groups embraced Nazi symbols. Simon Wastehole Central efforts to educate company useless then. Apology useless now. Knowingly denigrates 6 million Jews murdered in World War II Nazi Holocaust boosts today's racist neo-Nazis. It's not only just that, because obviously this is what the target of this organization is, but if you put the total death toll on the Eastern Front and together with the camps and all that, if you add them up, it goes somewhere at 40 million to 50 million. Most of them are Soviet soldiers, so it's not just 6 million. And obviously the target of this page is to talk about Jewish people, so I just want to give some extra context. I don't want to deflect from the importance of talking about the Jewish Shoah. I think that's how they call Holocaust in Hebrew. I don't want it to be a deflection of that serious issue. I just want to give you guys an image of how many more people have been hurt by this. It's not limited to one group, because I feel like people will justify this by saying, oh well, Jewish people, the population is not that big, so who cares if they're offended? No. Even if one person is offended, it still matters. But I want you guys to know that the whole Eastern Europe, if they saw this shit, they would be offended. And this is like a couple 100 million people. So, you know, it's a lot bigger than what you think. You didn't offend one group, you offended a lot of groups, including LGBTQ plus people as well, because that was also another group who was affected, including disabled people. There's a lot of groups. And as I said, it doesn't mean that you should dismiss it by saying, oh well, only a few Jewish people are alive today that were affected by this, so it doesn't matter. No, it matters. Even if it's one person, you should still apologize, because that's that on accountability. And now the worst fucking post with the best ratio. This screenshot was taken 2 days ago, I think, so it might have got worse now with the ratio. I'm not gonna check it again because I don't want to see the stupidity on this post. Bullying and spreading hate against anyone or any group of people is in many ways just a reflection of Nazi mindset. You may not wear their uniform or their badge, but your behavior is no different from those people who intimidate, terrorize, devalue, and kill many lives. We study Nazism to avoid espousing their fascist principles, to reject racism, to not walk the same path of spreading hate and false nationalism through mass appeal by means of a twisted rhetoric. We study Nazism to learn to value human life more. It's not merely historical, it's a moral lesson on a global scale. Pushing people, canceling them for not knowing any better, asking people to hate and despise them is more similar to the World War II Nazi behavior that tortured many lives. Not only one person or one company or one fandom should reflect on this, you haters should too. So this was posted under this Jewish organization that aims to talk about Holocaust, remembrance and stuff like that. And you are calling Holocaust survivors Nazis and the children and the grandchildren of Holocaust survivors. You're calling them Nazis. I don't even know what the fuck is wrong with you, but this is the most, like, probably one of the most disgusting things that I've seen on Twitter as of recent. The fact that people ratioed this so badly makes me so proud, because finally fucking Twitter is doing something right, because Twitter is the worst platform that I've seen ever, the most toxic one. But the thing is, the second paragraph could have been correct on its own, but everything else, just a bunch of shit. Comparing cancellation to what they did to Jewish people in the camps, and not only Jewish people, as I said, like, there were lots of other people in the camps, comparing that. So let's talk a little about what the Nazis fucking did. So in the camps, Nazis would shave Jewish people's heads, tattoo numbers on them, make them work insane hours, and then when they were bored or whatever they needed to lower the camp's capacity, they would take them to the gas chamber. And what else did the Nazis do? Oh yeah, they did the fucking big, horrible siege in the Soviet Union, in Leningrad, which starved out so many innocent Soviets, including a lot of children. Millions of children died in the Second World War. And I think it's somewhere at like 2 million Jewish children and 9 million Soviet children, and probably like a lot of other groups as well, but I don't know the exact numbers for those. You'd call those people the same level of victims as somebody being cancelled online. Like, are you actually serious? And nobody's even cancelling her. The most critical posts that I've seen were asking for her to hold herself accountable. I didn't see any hate, any death threats to her, so I don't even fucking understand. Kind of makes me think you're not different from them if you keep this up. And I'm leaving this person's name up because if there is somebody who deserves to be bullied, it's this person. Or really, a human rights center called after a Holocaust survivor and a Nazi hunter is no different from the scums who mass murdered women, men, children, and babies just because they called out your favorites. Have you considered a brain transplant? And I think this response is spot on. Some great comments on the crazy K-pop stans in the research center's quote retweets. K-pop stans in the replies comparing cancel culture to Nazism under the post of a Holocaust research center named in honor of a man who survived 3 concentration camps. You all are deranged. K-pop fans are literally devil personified. You people are literally arguing with people that spend their lives researching about the Holocaust and trying to discuss with them using Twitter threads as a source. None of you are going to see heaven. Correct. I agree with that. K-pop fans ratioing and trying to educate a memorial account dedicated to a man who survived 3 concentration camps on the topic of Holocaust and going to bed. Exactly. And then you are so educated on the Holocaust, but you think that your fave doesn't know anything about it. But then you also think that this fucking research center doesn't know anything about it. So how do you think that, like, do you just think the Holocaust happened and nobody fucking knows about it? Like, what is your logic here? K-pop stans have no sense of morality and are truly bottom of the barrel. Shooting this hard, and for what? The amount of anti-Semitism in the replies, you all sound like fucking fascists. Yeah, exactly. This is what they come across as. Right now, they are defending this person for something that she did that is wrong, and people are saying she did nothing wrong. You can hold your fucking favorites accountable, and they will still be your favorites, you know? So please grow the fuck up. I've also seen threads defending Sowon, which, again, don't fucking do this, because this is not for you to do. People are rightfully hurt. Sometimes they will lie, yeah, because people, when they are hurt, they lash out and they try to find other problems to make the situation worse, but it doesn't mean that it's not valid for the time being, for them to process the fucking trauma that something like this can bring. You see people glamorizing Nazi symbolism today a lot. And I'm talking about the swastikas, because yeah, the swastikas are a Nazi symbol today, but they are also a symbol of Hinduism, Buddhism, and whatever from before times of the Nazis. So we wouldn't take that away from these people. So yeah, I just think starting a thread on, since I've seen a lot of misinformation about the Sowon issue, I'm gonna make a thread, and most of it is defending the whole thing and saying that people are lying. People are not lying on purpose. People are being extremely emotional right now, and they will latch onto pieces of evidence that they think they found, and they will show it to the world without further research. It doesn't mean they are lying on purpose just to lie. It means they are hurt, and you should allow them the space to be hurt instead of doing this shit. Comments on her Instagram were positive as well, which again, I fucking hate it here. Please read. Someone didn't do anything wrong. How can she know that it is a Nazi uniform when what we do in school is just discussing about what happened in the history, not identifying soldiers' uniforms? So you don't fucking watch any videos? Like what? No, don't lie. History books have images. The amount of hate she received is unreasonable, knowing that someone is completely clueless about the Nazi uniform. Again, you don't know that. You don't know that because you're just speculating that she didn't know. The people from her record label said that she didn't know, but you don't even know what's in her head. Maybe she knew and maybe she lied. Don't generalize that if Korean has the best education, the students are all genius. What? Who came to the assumption that this one country has the best education though? Like, I'm just curious. I'm not saying it has a bad education. I'm just saying, like, who even said that? Who used this as an argument? Because I'm sure that China and North Korea have a better education than South Korea. But whatever, I'm not gonna get into that. We don't have the same brain. Okay, so you're calling her stupid? What are you doing here? We have different education system. It doesn't mean that they have the best education system. You can expect the students to be all genius. We are people, we're not perfect. Everyone makes a mistake. Shut up. Everyone deserves forgiveness. It doesn't mean that she didn't apologize personally. She isn't apologizing. The company is responsible in every action. No, she's responsible for her own actions. The company doesn't fucking own her soul. She can't release apology when the company didn't let her. Stop feeling educated. If she actually cared about her fans, she would put that above her contract obligations and put her fucking foot down and say, no, I don't care what you guys are telling me, I have to address this myself. There are a lot of soldiers in the world, and you can expect everybody to know that it is Nazi being based in the uniform. Your history isn't for everyone, your history is only for you, stop blaming someone. Your history is only for you. Do you know how many fucking groups of people were affected by this? How do you fucking dare to say such a thing? This, I swear to God, K-pop stars are morons. And people actually did a whole fucking Twitter feed on appreciation posts of her. I went on her name to see what people are saying on Twitter, and it's all shit like this. She's being the youngest in her family and being a responsible leader for the group at a young age, feeding the members, cooking for them, being professional, always checking her members. Someone is a very strong person. GFRIEND have been through a lot of ups and downs over these past 6 years. It's frustrating, but we can go through all of this together. GFRIEND official with buddies. Someone is precious and has been a great leader for her members. We love someone for who she is, and no one's gonna change that on my mind. Stay strong, buddy. Our girls will be back stronger in GFRIENDs we trust. This is what buddies should do now. Please don't give up on GFRIEND. If you really wanna go, just go. Don't say something that could hurt other buddies and GFRIEND. Let's give someone and GFRIEND space and wait for them, please. Okay, so you're saying that us criticizing your fave is hurtful and triggering to you, but what about people who have fucking family members who died in the camps? Is that not triggering to them? What do you think? Compilation of threads of someone being a caring leader. Remember when someone said that when a strange person is following GFRIEND, she'll hold the hands of the members and run away with them, but recently she changed her mind and said she'll just block the way and let the members run without her. Someone bad girl. Again, this is insane to me that you would defend this shit. I understand you like the fucking artist. Okay, fine. You can like the artist. But the problem is that you are literally not accepting that the person you like can do something wrong. Everybody does wrong shit, and you should hold them accountable as a fan instead of doing this and saying that they did nothing wrong. No, she did something wrong in this case, and it's just insane that people are denying this, like flat out denying it. And this is not the first time that the K-pop group has been linked to this kind of shit. In 2018, BTS had a hat that had a badge that resembled Nazi insignia. And the same group called them out, and I expect that they would have probably got death threats as well back then. And the same thing happened, the management issued an apology. Again, they didn't apologize personally, which, again, fucking insane. Correspondents say that while World War II history is taught in Asian nations, the teaching concentrates on the region and not what happened in Europe, and that Asian cities lack Jewish organizations that would usually raise awareness on the Holocaust. And I am glad that people acknowledge that they do teach this in school, but I can understand, obviously, it's focused more on your own nations, because that's what I think applies to every country. Every country will focus more on their own country, but since Japan and by extension occupied Korea was working with the Nazis, they would have interacted with different Nazis, envoys and ambassadors and whatever. So I just can't believe that you wouldn't know this. And to kind of illustrate what I was saying before, this is an image of what they had on stage once, a flag that is related to something to do with schools. So this is the logo that somebody posted, which is supposed to be what is on this flag. But you can understand why this looks like a Nazi flag, right? Like it's not hard to understand. And the thing is that people have been obviously reaching a little, and if it's not a Nazi flag, then people have been wrong. But this is what happens when you make somebody emotional and triggered. They will try to find more evidence to prove what they want to prove. And it's an emotional response. It's not an intentional lie in most cases. I'm not saying people don't lie, because yeah, they do. But most people don't. For most people, this is a way to validate what they already speculate. So it's not with the intent of hurting or lying. And this is like a chain reaction. It's what happens when you do something problematic. People will try to find more. And I don't understand why this is compared to being a Nazi. So yeah, I think this is everything for today, because I don't know what more to say. I just want to say, K-pop stans, you're going to hell. Goodbye.
Ever since the day that you